Hi YouTube people, today I wanted to start a quick discussion topic. I thought of this one, and I'm sure it's been done before, but I wanted to do it before I forgot it. And the topic is, have you ever purchased a book knowing you weren't going to read it? I am guilty of this. Now, I'm not talking about when you buy a book and you're like, oh, I'll get to this one day, and then you never actually do. I'm talking about when you buy a book and you know that you're never going to read it. At least not that version, you know you're not. I'm guilty of that. My first guilty category, vintage juvenile fiction. I buy these with no intention of reading them. I am never going to read the Bobbsey twins. I own these two as decorative objects because they're cool. They're from like the 50s, I think, for both of these. And they were purchased as decorative objects. Same with this one. I like the movie version, cheap paperbacks from the 50s and 60s. I like them, so I buy them, again, as decorative objects. Now, this one is on a book list I'm working through called 1001 Children's Books You Must Read Before You Grow Up. So I am going to read Chitty Chitty Bang Bang one day, but am I going to read this copy? Nope. And I had no intention of reading this copy when I bought it. Yeah. Now, there's also the books that you sort of know that you won't read, but you hope you might. I have some of those too. For instance, the entire 54 book volume of Britannica's great works. Am I really holding them upside down? I am. Great Books of the Western World, is that the name of this? It's just Great Books. Britannica's Great Books. I own all 54. It was a beautiful set. It was cheap. I bought it and then realized how much old philosophy and stuff is in the set. I still like the way the set looks on the shelf, but I don't know if I am willing to commit to quite this much reading. The most valuable portion of the set is actually the first 3 books. These books, you can look up a topic and see how it's discussed in old literature. Granted, you could do that online, but there's so much junk online. There really is. You have to weed through so much total garbage that's just advertising and clickbait that you really can't get to good reference stuff. So I would still, even if I got rid of the set, I would still keep these. What's funny about this set is it gives you a reading guide, a 10-year reading plan in the back of this. There is let's see if I can get right to it. There's a list of the contents of the whole series and a 10-year reading plan. However, that 10-year reading plan only accomplishes a small portion. It's something like 20 years to read the whole set, the way it's laid out. I can't. If I start that now and actually did that, I'd be like 55 before I finished it. Right? So, I don't know if I'm ever actually going to read them. But briefly, when I bought them, I was like, oh, I'm going to read these. And then as soon as I got them home, I was like, no, I'm not. No, they're just shelf fodder because they look cool. Other books I buy that I have no intention of actually reading all the way through. There are books that I intend to only thumb through. For instance, this giant Smithsonian DK combo book, Natural History. I mean, this thing is massive. It's beautiful. I love the pictures in it. My daughter goes through this, and we kind of use this as a jumping off point of things she wants to know about. But I am never going to read this cover to cover. Never. Never. I put it as my reading goal last year that I was going to read it. No, I'm not. So, yeah. So giant nonfiction books. Giant nonfiction books that are more like reference works. I'm never going to read them all the way through. Okay. Another category. Fancy books. Let's see if I can not hold them upside down. Right? Fancy books. These are Franklin Mint, I believe. I think these ones, there's one of the real leather and the rest are the bonded leather. And I mean, they're just beautiful. They're beautiful. I'm not going to read these, you know? If I'm going to read them, I'm going to read them in some dirty old paperback format. I'm not going to read and crack the spine of this. It's just not going to happen. Oh, actually, see, I've already read Anna Karenina and The Scarlet Letter, but not in this. I've read like dirty old paperbacks or ebooks. Haven't read Tom Jones yet. I will read it, but I'm not reading this copy. This is my pretty shelf copy. And I know that's crazy. Like, a book is for reading. A book is for the purpose of reading. But there's also sort of, books have this aesthetic appeal to them as well, where they aren't just content, they're also decorative item. And so I've got some that are classified like that. Trying to get the next pile, but it doesn't want to cooperate. A History of the English-Speaking Peoples by Winston Churchill. Sorry, they're a little dusty. I dusted them, but it doesn't seem to have taken. These, I bought them because I can't find an ebook of them. All right? I can't find an ebook. And so one day, and there's no paperback either. I can't find a paperback. So I'm either going to have to just break down and read these. I don't want to. So I'm waiting for an ebook or a paperback because I don't want to read these. I got them for a good deal, but if I had to replace them tomorrow because I cracked the spine on them reading them, because they'll take forever to read too, it would be like $75. And yeah, I just don't see myself ever being able to justify replacing them. So there I am. Those are my categories. Those are my categories of books that I buy that I know I'm never going to read. So do you have categories that you buy that you know you're not going to read? If you do, comment below so I don't feel like the only weirdo who buys books they know they have no intention of reading. So until next time.